Once a king chosen by God, Saul of Israel now walked in darkness. His kingdom teetered on the edge, his heart heavy with fear and regret. For years he had disobeyed God, and now God's voice was silent. Nothing in the temple, nothing in the prophets, nothing in the prayers of Israel. Saul was alone. He had once been strong, a young man, tall and handsome, full of promise. But pride, jealousy, and stubbornness had poisoned his heart. Now the Philistines gathered against him, and the shadow of death loomed over his army, his family, and his reign. Saul paced the stone halls of his palace, torches flickering in the dim light. His mind was restless. He sent men to seek the Lord through priests and prophets, but every attempt brought only silence. God had abandoned him, and fear began to gnaw at his soul. He remembered the words God had commanded: "Do not turn to mediums or necromancers. Do not seek the dead, for whoever does this is detestable to the Lord." Yet desperation clouded his judgment. He could not wait, could not pray, could not hope. His heart drove him to the very path God had forbidden, the Witch of Endor. "I must know. I cannot go into battle blind," he muttered, his voice trembling. He donned a disguise to hide his royal identity and slipped from the palace under the cover of night. His advisors, loyal but frightened, dared not ask questions. The king was gone, walking into darkness, following a path he should have never taken. Even as he approached, a part of him remembered God's warning, but fear drowned obedience. Pride and desperation had become his guides. The night was cold. Fog swirled around ancient stones, and the wind whispered through the trees. At last, Saul arrived at the dwelling of the witch. Smoke curled from a fire inside, and shadows danced along the walls. He knocked, and the woman opened the door. Her eyes widened in recognition. "Why have you come, king?" she asked. "I seek guidance," Saul answered, his voice low. "Summon for me the one I desire, the prophet Samuel." The medium hesitated, her hands trembling. "The dead cannot be summoned," she said, fear lacing her words. "And it is forbidden. Why would the king of Israel risk this?" "I am desperate," Saul replied. "God has forsaken me. I must know what awaits." The woman's hands shook as she followed Saul's command. She traced symbols on the ground and spoke words few dared repeat. The air grew thick and heavy. Suddenly, a chill passed through the room, and the fire flickered wildly. Then, before them, a figure appeared. Saul fell to his knees, recognizing the face he had feared yet revered. It was Samuel, the prophet of the Lord, the one who had anointed him years ago. The room was silent except for Saul's trembling breath. "Why have you disturbed me, king?" Samuel's voice echoed, both gentle and terrible. "I am in danger, Samuel," Saul said. "The Philistines are upon us, and God will not answer me. Tell me what to do." Samuel looked upon Saul with sorrow. "You have disobeyed the Lord. You have rejected his commands, and tonight you have sought the dead, which is forbidden. Because of this, the Lord has departed from you. Tomorrow, you and your sons will be handed over to the Philistines. Israel will fall, and your kingdom will be no more." Saul's knees hit the floor. He had sought answers, and now he faced the final truth. The fear he had tried to hide, the dread he had tried to outrun, now consumed him completely. The king trembled, tears streaming down his face. "No, there must be another way," he whispered. "There must be mercy, a chance to fight, to win." Samuel shook his head. The Lord's will cannot be undone. You brought this upon yourself. By turning from him and seeking what is forbidden, you have sealed your fate." Saul fell back into despair, his body collapsing to the ground, his heart shattered. The medium looked on in horror, realizing she had been part of something sacred, terrifying, and irreversible. That night, Saul returned to his camp, exhausted and broken. The soldiers around him sensed his fear, their own hearts heavy with worry. The king was no longer the mighty warrior who had once defeated enemies. He was a man defeated by his own choices. The air was heavy with anticipation. The Philistine army waited beyond the valley, their numbers vast, their banners fierce. Saul's sons, Jonathan and the others, prepared for battle, unaware that their fate had already been sealed by disobedience and pride. This is a story not only of a king's fall, but of the consequences of turning away from God. Saul's life had begun with promise, yet he allowed fear, pride, and impatience to guide his actions instead of faith. He reached into darkness, and darkness reached back. Even in desperation, the warning is clear. God commands his people to obey. Seeking the dead, turning to forbidden paths, and ignoring his word leads only to destruction, no matter the power or title one holds. As dawn approached, Saul's camp stirred. The horizon glowed faintly with the sun's first light. The Philistines were ready. Saul's heart pounded in his chest. He looked at his sons, his men, his kingdom, and he knew the prophecy was certain. There is a moment in every life when choice meets consequence. Saul had chosen rebellion. He had chosen fear over faith. And now the consequences would arrive with the rising sun. The story of Saul at Endor is a chilling reminder. No crown, no power, no fear can replace obedience to God. Pride leads to ruin. Desperation, when turned inward instead of upward, only deepens despair. The king who once had everything, favor, guidance, victory, ended alone, trembling and undone. And yet, in this darkness, there is a lesson for all who hear this tale. Seek God while he can be found. Turn to him in faith, not fear. Walk in his light, not shadows. For the night of Saul at Endor was more than the fall of a king. It was a warning echoing through generations. God's will cannot be bypassed. His commands must be obeyed, and his silence is never the end.